If you love interior design styles like bohemian, modern farmhouse, Scandinavian minimalism, or earthy modern, two key crochet stitches that you need to know are the moss stitch and the bevel stitch. And that's what I'm focusing on today. Both the moss stitch and the bevel stitch offer amazing textures to crochet projects, and I can't get enough of them. The moss stitch is quick to work up and has a wonderful texture all on its own, but one of my favorite things about it is how color changes interact with each other from row to row. I'm doing my 2019 temperature blanket in a moss stitch, and you can see how from row to row the colors really interact with each other, and it looks so much more interesting, I think, than if I had done this in a straight single crochet all the way across. This is also one of my favorite stitches to use in black and white. I just love the graphic interest that the moss stitch provides when I'm working with the black and the white yarn. And right now I'm also working on a project where I'm combining the moss stitch with some weaving, and I'll bring you a full tutorial on this when I'm done. It's really gonna be fun. The bubble stitch can be a little time consuming and it uses a lot of yarn, but it adds such an amazing plush texture to a project, and it's the perfect way to add geometric designs to pieces. Like this one where I have spaced out the bubble stitches to create a pattern. I'm going to show you how to do each of these stitches, but before I do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. I try to bring a combination of technical skills, design style, and my favorite tips and hacks to my channel with new posts every week, and I don't want you to miss them. I'm going to show you the moss stitch first. Start with a slip stitch, insert your crochet hook, and then chain the length that you need your project to be. Whenever you do any project with a moss stitch, you want to chain an even number of chains. Once you have your desired length, chain 4 more chains to start your next row. Then you're going to count 4 chain spaces from your hook and do a single crochet into that space. This is going to account for both your turn and that chain space that you'll crochet into on your way back. Now chain again. Skip 1 chain stitch and do a single crochet into the next stitch. And this is the pattern for the entire moss stitch. You're always going to do a single crochet and then a chain stitch, a single crochet, and then a chain stitch. And since I'm doing my 2019 temperature blanket entirely in a moss stitch, I'm going to use my blanket to show you how you start your next row. Every row will start in a chain 2, and that's to create that chain space at the beginning of your row. And then in that first chain space from the row below, you'll do a single crochet. And then continue that pattern of doing a single crochet in the chain from the row below and then chaining. Single crochet, chain, single crochet, chain. And you're always going to do your single crochet in the chain stitch in the row below. And this stitch is so easy because every single row starts that same way. You're always going to chain 2 and then do your single crochet into that first chain below, but it's going to automatically shift your pattern for you so that as each row dips into the row below, it creates this beautiful texture. This stitch has the density of a single crochet stitch, but it works up a lot faster, and it adds so much visual interest between the rows. As long as you start with an even number, you can use this stitch on any project. Now let's look at the bubble stitch. Again, you're going to start by doing a slip stitch and chaining as many chains as you need for your project. I'm just doing 1 row of single crochet to start my project, but you can do any kind of stitch before a bubble stitch. When you do a bubble stitch, any stitch that isn't the actual bubble is going to be worked like a single crochet. So when you start each row, you're going to chain 1, just like you're doing a row of single crochet. Then you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull your yarn through, yarn over, and pull through the first 2 loops. Don't pull through the next 2 loops. Instead, yarn over and go back into that same stitch, pull your yarn through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops again. And you're going to keep doing this until you have a total of 6 loops on your hook. And once you have 6 loops on your hook like this, you're ready to complete your bubble stitch. You're going to pull your yarn over your hook 1 more time, Turn your hook down so it pulls easily through and pull it through all 6 loops at once. And then you're going to do a single crochet in your very next stitch to pull that loop closed. Now you can go right back to doing another bubble stitch, or you can continue to do some single crochets. It really depends on what look you're looking for. If you are doing a project that has bubble stitches all the way across, you're going to do a pattern of doing one bubble stitch and then a single crochet in the next stitch and then a bubble stitch in the next. But you might be doing a project where you are strategically placing some of the bubble stitches to make a unique pattern. You're going to want all your bubbles or puffs to stick out of your project on the same side, so you're going to want to make sure that you're always working that bubble stitch on the same side of your project. And to do that, you just need to follow every row that has a bubble stitch with at least one row of single crochet. It won't actually end up being very obvious in the project, but it will keep all of your bubbles or puffs facing the same direction. If you're having a hard time seeing where each stitch needs to go as you come back across your project, just remember that when you did the bubble stitch, it was a bubble into one stitch followed by a single crochet into the next stitch. So you're going to want to look for 2 sets of loops for every bubble stitch and not miss one of those loops to shorten your project. The bubble stitch is a great way to add an interesting design component to any project, and I especially love combining it with the moss stitch. This tutorial is my 3rd in my series of crocheting basics, so make sure you check out the others too, and if there's a crocheting concept that you wish you understood better, drop me a comment below and I will do my best to bring you that content. Now, I need to get going because just talking about these 2 stitches makes me anxious to get crocheting. Don't forget to like this video if you like the tutorial, and come back soon. And when all else fails, if you are having trouble making your crochet project work, you can't figure the stitches out, wine always makes it better. At least it makes it seem better, and that's really all that matters. Nobody's looking at your projects that closely anyway. Mess up a few stitches, it's fine, drink some wine.